That's what this story is about, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, and sometimes, when you're living in a really low socioeconomic area, it's like, why not die? Like, why, I mean, there's another movie I worked on, Charm City Kings.
Uh,
I don't know if it's completely out yet, but it's also about a young person who grows, his character changes. But, I love this because really, like you're saying, what is the definition of a man? And what does that mean? And James clearly, changes his idea of who that man is. And his examples, who does he really listen to? A guy who killed somebody 5 times, who's like got no door open to his life. And it made James realize the value of his life and the choices that he makes. And he's not a victim. He can change his life. And like the ending, one of the, and of course, like as we're talking about editorially, we're slowly working towards this hearing, right? We're going back and forth between time,
right.
Slowly working towards this hearing that he's got. And then and Conrad seeing him just screw it up. Because part of it is James is probably too scared. He'd rather just do what he always does, right? It's safer that way. And you feel manly when you're angry.
All of us, if it's safer to do the same thing, right?
Yeah. But when he goes to speak to that parole board, I mean, I remember filming that scene. Trevor and I were like, come on, Spencer, you can do it, because it's a long monologue, first of all, right? It's a long monologue. How can we visually, as a director, how can we, film this so it's interesting instead of just he does do a wide shot with a slowly coming in, but he does other angles. He doesn't do, I don't think, the room wide. He shows them, then, back and forth, the board and then him. But really most of it, that whole monologue is right to camera. I mean, it's a little bit off camera, but it's to camera. And for Spencer, he had to get that right. And because that is finally when James, there are little snippets of when James is growing, but he really, now he's going to make the right decisions for his life. And he doesn't care if the parole board lets him out or not, because either way, he's going to win. That's a really profound thing. And it's profound about James Burns, who's a real person. I mean, we talk about the story. It's a feature, but it's a real person who experienced this. So that adds to this movie in a whole different dynamic.
Yeah, man. There's so many Jamesy boys out there, and I don't know if I would have sat to watch this movie when I needed to hear it. I mean, or when I needed to watch it. But I'm glad that it's out there for others to be able to have that opportunity. And this has just been so amazing. We've been able to talk about Jamesy Boy, but we've also gone through parenthood and filmmaking, script supervising. What a wealth of knowledge Jane has. And again, thank you so much for being a part of this. Find all our content on thenewfilmosophy.com.